And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, OC Steve, down here in Southern California, representing the SoCal Geeks. And to over there is DJ Ruben, representing the NorCal Geeks. Combined with our geeky powers, we are West Coast Geeks. Thank you for coming and checking out our latest weekly edition. Ruben, how the hell are you?
Oh, I'm good, brother. I'm enjoying the sunlight. No more rain.
Yeah,
for the next week.
It's a nice, brisk 60 degrees here in lovely Orange County, California. So I am still wearing shorts as I am a hockey nerd. So it's like a heat wave. You see people walking around in parkas and Ugg boots, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, get a grip, go grab a burger or two, get some insulation on your bones, and you'll be all right.
Absolutely.
So
I forgot what sunlight looked like.
We got some topics for this week. We're bringing back the rant. In fact, the rant now is going to be the main event on this card known as West Coast Geeks. So we had a little bit of news this week, not too much, just two little tidbits before we go into the main card. So I think that the bigger thing that I wanted to share that I was kind of interested in is there's not too much to it. So I'll share my screen here. Please, it's not Morbin time. So don't worry, we're not talking about Morbius, so please stay tuned. Sorry if that's the image that Superhero Hype decided to use, but the House of Mouse has announced that they are going to move ahead and give the green light to Tron 3. And Jared Leto himself is going to get the main billing. And it's going to be co-directed. I guess it's moving forward, so they even gave it a name, Tron Ares. With one of the co-directors of Pirates 5 helming the directing duties. So let's shed a little light. Other than that, there wasn't too much other news to report on it. So what's your thoughts, Ruben?
I'm always excited to see like these universes or these movies expanded on. I thought Tron 2 was great. It's going to be interesting how method Jared Leto goes with Tron 3. I don't know like what he's going to emulate. Being inside a computer program, maybe he might learn how to code. I don't know. But
why doesn't he know how to code?
But no clue. But I thought one of the shining moments of Tron 2 was the soundtrack. So hopefully we get a kick-ass soundtrack for this one.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be helming the duties when it comes to the soundtrack of Tron Ares. I'm just going to call it Tron 3 because Ares sounds weird. It sounds like it's one of those like craptastic like names that they give for a beta console before they announce it.
Dude, Tron 3 Electric Boogaloo sounds better than Tron Ares.
Tron 3 Trace More Tacos. There you go.
That sounds better than Ares.
So I get that we kind of wrapped up the story in Tron Legacy, which is like weird to say. That was like almost 10 years ago when you think about it. So, like, I get that we kind of saw all of everything there is with the Flynn storyline, talking about his son, explaining the grid. Kind of in that storyline, the big worry was that he created a kind of digital clone of himself that went evil, which was Clue, and he was trying to amass a digital army. Whereas in the other kind of Tron movie, in the original one in the 80s, Flynn got sucked into the grid. Now the grid is trying to come out and amass a digital army that's going to overthrow the Earth. So they kind of took care of that. So they had some foreshadowing at the end of Tron Legacy where they talked about the Master Control program that was kind of the big bad in Tron 1 is still around. And so maybe in my mind, there's some AI, there could be some cognizance where it's trying to control programs. So maybe this Jared Leto character, this is entirely speculation on my part, has to go into the grid because maybe he is a programmer himself and knows how to find the source code for the Master Control program, and he's going to take it out before we pretty much start World War III.
Got it. So I think that the Master Control program is going to be an OnlyFans subscription.
He's going to sabotage. So you're going the alternate route where he's going to get all the simps to do all of his dirty work. So it's going to be a Master Control simp program in your version of Tron 3.
Probably. It's Disney, so it probably won't happen.
I mean, crazier shit has happened. Maybe he tries to sabotage the market with a weird NFT or cryptocurrency, but I think that's going to be kind of the basis. It's going to be something where they have to go back into the grid to stop that program from systematically destroying and controlling other programs. That's going to cause the collapse of society as we know it. I don't think it's going to deal too much with Flynn. I'd be surprised. I would be pleasantly surprised if Jeff Bridges does decide to come back as Flynn, but I'm not planning on it. What's your speculation with the Jared Leto character in the legacy of Tron? Do you think he's going to be related to somebody, or is he going to be entirely a new character?
I mean, it's such an easy cop out to say, "Oh, this is his grandson." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather have it be like someone completely unrelated who knows about the Flynns and everything that they did beforehand.
Well, I think Daddy could have gotten around. Story. I mean, Flynn's there's no moss on a rolling stone. Too. So, he could be a third tertiary son or a bastard kid that learned how to code.
Or what if he's a program that escaped?
Could be. They addressed ISOs with the Olivia Wilde character. He could be a reluctant character that realizes that he's in the real world, but maybe when he goes back to the grid, he finds out he's one of these original self-made AI ISOs that has to destroy the master control program. Or he could be Bruce Broxlinger's son in real life. Like, he could be the friend, like Flynn's friend was Tron in real life. Like, he based Tron on his friend that was in the real world. He could be that guy's son. But I do like the ISO idea. That's something that kind of harkens back to the original Tron Legacy film and kind of has connective tissue. So I think it's going to be a little bit of that. Who knows if they're going to get Daft Punk back to do the soundtrack, as they've kind of disbanded, but it's Disney and it's Disney money. So never, it's the old wrestling proverb with us both wrestling sweaties, never say never. You never know. If they back the Brinks truck up a couple times, those French Parisian guys will put on those helmets again and get into those leather outfits, and they'll be doing some dubstep and techno in the grid.
I hope they're like, you know what? We'll do this movie only if you let us redo the soundtrack to Space Mountain.
There you go. We get that, and also with a new Tron, we get new rad video game accessories. Remember when Tron Legacy came out, we had all those badass controllers for console. They had keyboards and mice that were really cutting edge with all that bio kind of blue luminescent kind of shit that was on it. So I'm all for that. Even if the movie's utter dog shit and we get some rad swag and accessories as a byproduct, I'm cool with it. And if the movie tanks, I'm still a Tron fan. So it'll go on ultra discount and we'll just nab that shit up maybe a couple months after it goes to crap. So it's still a win-win one way or another in my book.
Steve, all they did was put LED lights on everything.
I don't care. I'm buying it. It's Tron. Shut your mouth, Ruben. Shut it. Let a man dream. Let him have his passion. I have an identity disc, damn it. I'll destroy you. So getting into the other topic of this week, and specifically this weekend, it is the 20th anniversary of a comic book that I like. You might be familiar with the artist. He's an independent artist. He created a series that lasted, a while on a cable network known as The Walking Dead on AMC. A little guy named by the name of Robert Kirkman. Are you familiar with him, Ruben?
Vaguely.
Oh, okay. Well, this is one of his other lesser-known IPs of Invincible.
I love them in Friends.
Yeah, there you go. So it is the 20th anniversary of Invincible. If you didn't already feel old today, Ruben, I'm making you feel even older knowing that fact.
Man.
So there you go, kids. Invincible's hitting 20, but it's been a fun 20. He told the story that he wanted to tell in the comic books. Both me and my wife, while we were dating, read the floppies, read the monthly trade. So it was something where I could introduce her to a hobby, and we both got to read the stories. We found characters that we could relate and like. Honestly, I think Invincible as a book is better than The Walking Dead in a lot of ways. It's just an easier read to pick up. You don't have to be solely immersed in the world and know every nuance and everything that came before it. You can pick up a trade and jump in at any point, and it's accessible to the average reader. And that's why I think that the show lent itself so well to being put on Amazon Prime. And I like that they didn't pull back their punches. That's kind of the sticker shock when you're reading Invincible. You're like, okay, I'm going to get another coming of age kind of Spider-Man, Superboy kind of story. And then it's like, nope, boom, right in the face. We're going to hit you with ultra violence, brutality, gore, viscera, schmegma. You literally watch the Justice League get destroyed by Superman. And I'm not giving you spoilers because this book has been out for 20 years. So when Invincible came out, I felt like all those sweaties that read like the Game of Thrones books. Oh, this is the Red Wedding. You had to sit through a 500-page book. Get the fuck over yourself. I'm just reading some Invincible trades. The fact that the cast was perfect. You got J.K. Simmons. J. Jonah Jameson himself is Omni-Man. You know, you have Stephen Yeun from The Walking Dead voicing Mark, which he was great. And you had some other cast members from some other Walking Dead alumni that were in the show. I mean, you have Seth Rogen as Alan the Alien. Not necessarily my pick, but it actually worked for me in the context of the show, of him being kind of this aloof, forgetful alien and going to the wrong planet called Urath. You know? And you had some members, and you had some cast members from the show Community. You have Zazie Beetz in it from Deadpool 2 as Mark's girlfriend for now. Just coming attractions. But in light of the 20th anniversary of Invincible, and with the 20th season the second season announcement that we've all been long awaiting for, they kind of did it a tongue-in-cheek joke where Mark is sitting at a diner talking to Alan the Alien, and Alan is asking all the hard-hitting questions that we want to know as fans. Like, when is it coming out? What have you been doing? And when are we going to get more of Invincible? Because I enjoyed the shit out of it. I mean, if you're a fan of The Boys and you watch The Boys and you want something that they just couldn't, like, The Boys is great. I'll give The Boys credit. There's some really weird shit, especially the last season with that termite shit where he went into the guy's peen and exploded. That was a little ridiculous. But there's just certain action scenes that you can't do flying wise, that CGI, that you can do on a budget with Invincible, and it just feels great.
Right. You have the freedom of animation and not CGI.
Exactly, and you can do things on a larger scale. Like the scene when Omni-Man gets sucked into that dimensional portal and he goes to that alien's home world, and he's like, Earth is not yours for conquering. And then he just lays waste to that entire fucking civilization. And you see him like going like Mach 85 through buildings and shit. You just can't do that on The Boys. They just don't have the CGI budget for that, being an Amazon TV show, because they weren't given the Lord of the Rings budget. They were kind of given a pittance. Like, if you got a Lord of the Rings budget, you can do whatever the fuck you want. With this show, you couldn't with The Boys. So I'm glad that they decided to stay with Invincible as an animated show. I'll stick with the animated show. I've heard rumblings through the social media of the Invincible community that they're still kind of, kicking the tires about whether they're going to do a live action adaptation or not. But with that in mind, I just don't think that a film format lends itself to a live action with Invincible, with the amount of story, the character building. Robert Kirkman's writing abilities are shown and presented in that show.
Oh, no, I agree. I think that one of the biggest mistakes with some of these comic book IPs that become movies or TV shows is that they try to cram in so much in an hour and a half time frame.
Fuck it. Or if it's a Michael Bay film, it's like, I don't want to watch a 3-hour Transformers film. I don't give a shit about the humans. Just give me the Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that's one of the bigger mistakes that they have. And then, us as people who read the books, we're so invested in every single minute detail. Like, it means a lot to us because that's shit we read. And then for like this big event to be like looked over in the movies, it's like, why?
But we would lose a lot of those smaller scenes. We would lose like Mark showing his powers and like throwing that garbage bag into orbit. Him dealing with being a teenager, the high school drama. There just wouldn't be enough time to see that minutia of him growing up as an adult and also still dealing with his powers. That's why there's a lot of great overlap between him and Spider-Man. It's just so happens that his dad's still alive and he's a conquesting alien overlord that disguised himself as Superman to give us a false sense of security, so then he could systematically wipe out the Justice League and leave the door open for his alien armada to come and systematically take over Earth.
Surprise.
There you go. You couldn't do that in the confines of a movie and really get all the nuance between Omni-Man struggling with this fact that he's beating up his son and all this other stuff. So I think the animated show's great. I dig that it's like maybe 40 plus minutes an episode. So it's not like these little 20-minute episodes and you're here and gone. So I think it's going to be good. Looking forward to season 2 in late 2023. We don't necessarily know when. So they've given themselves a good little buffer at the end of the year. It could be October, could be November, could be December. It's worth the wait. We're going to have a longer season out of it too, because the minute that one was done and it was received well, they were already going into production pre-Coof to do season 2. So animation does take a while, and quality animation does take a while. So please wait. We'll probably have more announcements as Comic-Con develops in the summer. More teasers, more announcements, more character developments. So that's the bit of news that I had for now. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the main event. This is the OC Steve rant. Now, the rules of the rant are thus. Ruben is going to be presenting me with a topic that I do not know about. So this is my off-the-cuff opinion, solely my opinion alone. I don't know what he's going to present me. So please keep in mind there might be some expletives, profanity, and some crazy jargon ahead. So at this point in time, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe if you want, and take your kids home, because I can't guarantee this is going to be mature. This is going to be mature content. So with that being said, the disclaimer being out, Ruben, what do you present me this week for the rant?
All right, Steve. What I present you with for this week is this. As we all know, Universal Studios they're opening up their Super Mario World in February, and they're ramping everything up. They're testing everything out. Fans discovered that the new Mario Kart Bowser ride has a size limit of 40-inch waist or lower. And now people are up in arms because they may not fit in these carts.
They put the shame cart. Like, and if you go to Harry Potter World, which I have been the poor victim of, when you go to Hogsmeade, they don't put it to the side, which is at least a nice courtesy. They put that motherfucker right in the front, right in front of the ride. So you have to do the walk of shame in front of that thing. And on top of it, they have like the pull down bar for that. And if it's green light, it means you're good. You can go on the ride. You're barely.
It lights up.
It lights up. There's a little light. There's a little diode on the side there. So if it's green, everybody knows that, okay, maybe you're chubby, and you can still ride the ride. If it doesn't pull down, you're dead. It's red. So they make you feel bad as fuck for being fat. And the disclaimer is, I didn't even see guys that were a little chubbier than me. I saw taller guys too. So it kind of gauges it for fitting in the actual ride car. So if you're a taller guy, like I watched some guys that were maybe over like 6'2", not necessarily wide. They were just tall and broad in the shoulder base. They couldn't ride the ride. So I don't think it's a good tactic. I wish that they would have that as a disclaimer ahead of time. So, maybe they just had a generic car at the exit, not right in front of the ride. Like everything in Hogsmeade, it's in front of the fucking ride. You go to the whole Harry Potter, like Goblet of Fuckfest fire thing, and they have that cart in the front. When you go to the Hippogriff roller coaster, they have another shame cart in front of it that you have to go in front of. So great. I get to go to Nintendo World and I get another shame cart. Thank you, Universal, for the shame cart. My fat butt moving forward. And we talked about this off air a little bit last week. So I had an inclination that you were going to bring this up as your rant of the week. So yeah, screw you, Universal. And I can't even, so great. The only two real rides I can go on at Universal are the tram tour, because there's really no, oh yeah, because I want to go to fucking Universal Studios Hollywood just for the tram tour. I can go on the Simpson ride, which is a repurposed Back to the Future ride, which I wish they would switch back to the Future ride, or at least have one car in the Simpsons world with the Back to the Future ride as the motion track, just for the sake of us sweaties that appreciate Back to the Future, and the Transformers ride. Because I tried last year when my little baby niece, who is 16, showed up, and I barely got my ass squeezed into Jurassic World because they refitted the actual seats with the pull-down bar. Like, it used to be just a general pull-down bar, and it would just go across everybody's waist. Now it's partitioned. So it's another kind of form of a fat shame cart. I'm going to go to Disneyland. And I'll tell you why I'll go to Disneyland, Ruben. I don't have any of that bullshit at Disneyland. Yes, I got to jump through hoops to go to Disneyland, but they appreciate fatties. They want you to be fat. They want you to buy the chimichangas. They want you to buy the turkey legs and all that lovely stuff that makes my metformin go, why are you eating this, Steve? Disneyland appreciates the sweaties. They want sweaties. I don't get it. At Universal, it's like I almost feel like they're trying to ostracize. It's not really for families, because part of the family is also having your larger adults be able to go on the rides too, not just your kids.
I think that's a terrible thing too, because like, what if you are a family of 4 from Iowa and you make the trip over to Orlando,
Especially
or
Iowa.
California.
You're eating some Midwest. You're having Steak Shake. You're having Cracker Barrel. You know, you don't understand what you don't know what a steamed vegetable is if you're probably from the Midwest.
They don't know what gluten-free organic is.
Like they don't even know what a gluten is.
But you imagine them go all the way there, spend all that money to go experience, whether it's Harry Potter or Super Mario, and you go over there and then get the card of shame.
The card of shame is the worst thing that they've ever done. And the fact that people aren't speaking up about it because maybe they're embarrassed about their body image or how they feel about themselves, it needs to be addressed. You need to put that in guest services. You don't need to put that in front of the ride. You don't need to shame anybody. You can just put a polite little disclaimer on the entrance of the ride and then have people go to guest services, and you can have those test carts already ahead of time.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, please go to the guest services area somewhere behind closed doors so you're not ostracizing and alienating anybody, so you don't feel like a funhouse freak. So that was a little more lighter rant. Maybe I got a little more personal with my own experience, but I feel that we shed some light that if you're sweaty and Mario and the Super Nintendo Land is coming out, they only really have one ride anyway because they didn't emulate all of Japan. They didn't get the Yoshi ride. So you're only really going for the Mario Kart ride. You're going for the overpriced nonsense food of the Toad Cafe. You might as well just go to Universal Studios. If you're really going for the Mario swag, go to the Universal City Walk and just grab all that shit, because that crap's going to be in there anyway.
Absolutely.
And save your money and go to Disneyland, where they appreciate big boys and bigger girls.
Because they'll feed you as you're getting off the ride.
Yep. You're going to get your souvenir photo. You're going to get your 250 gallon soda, which is the size of a liquefied child. And you're going to have a good time. And maybe you might have to get tested for a blood draw at the end of the day to determine if you're a type 2 diabetic. But you had a good time at the Magic Kingdom.
Thanks, Disney.
Yeah. Whatever. I, for one, appreciate our Disney overlords because they've bought majority of our childhood.
Absolutely.
And I don't give a fuck what happens at the end of the year, Ruben. As long as I get X-Men 92.
Oh, yeah.
They can do whatever shit they want on The Mandalorian. They can do whatever shit they want with the Marvel MCU. If I get X-Men 92 and it's exactly like where I left off as a kid, insert whatever fucking politics you want as long as I get that show. You can burn other shows to the ground. You gave me fucking Willow, and that was dog shit, but if you give me X-Men 92, you will never hear me poo-poo anything as long as I get X-Men 92.
Or if they fuck it up, this could be a big ass rant.
Oh, you're gonna hear from me. Disney, hi, me, OC Steve, blocked by my own mascot on Twitter, blocked by Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld, blocked by Matt Taven, blocked by Bullet Club founding member Tama Tonga. That's just a couple off the top of my head. Don't fuck up X-Men 92, because it'll become personal, and you don't want to see when things become personal with me. That was my disclaimer. You have been warned.
And with that said, folks, thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of West Coast Geeks. I'm DJ Ruben. That's OC Steve. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay geeky, my friends.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, wear your geek flag with pride. Have a good time. And if you're an adult, spend that money and buy that swag. We'll catch you on the next video, kids. Have a good one.